on WRFP-LP 101.9 FM.
Okay, can I be heard now? Okay. All right, and so I'm ready to start the meeting, or did we start without me?
Eric, can you hear us?
Okay.
Waiting on you, Eric.
All right.
No worries.
Can you turn your microphone on? Can we hear you?
Okay, thank you.
Can you guys hear us?
All right, I apologize to everyone for the delay. I had some technical difficulties at home here. I'm doing the meeting from home. So, can everyone hear me?
Sure can.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your patience. All right, so we'll do a roll call in a minute here. I'm going to start with the opening announcements. This meeting is being broadcast live by Valley Media Works on Charter Channel 994 WRFP-LP 101.9 and online at valleymediaworks.org. The Plan Commission attempts to conduct its public meetings in a relatively informal manner with the constraint that we must deal with the issues before us in an orderly and businesslike fashion. We give the applicant an opportunity to speak first on public hearing items, and then others who are either against or for the proposal are each permitted to speak once. We do request that everyone restrict their comments to the issues before us, avoid unnecessary repetition, and be prudent in the use of time. We want to make sure that we have adequate time to review and discuss all items with equal diligence. So just as a reminder, please have your phones on off or silent during the meeting. And with that, we will begin with a roll call. And I don't have the, okay, here we go. All right, we'll start with Commissioner Granlund. Here. Braggart.
Here.
Wolfgram.
Here.
Obaid.
Here.
Brenholz.
Here.
And I don't show Commissioner Seymour on my list. Am I missing him?
I'm here, Eric. Can you hear me?
And then
Yeah, it seems like something.
I think I'm missing another commissioner. Is that all of the commissioners, or did I miss someone?
Can you hear us at City Hall?
All right. We'll begin with the minutes from the June 15th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I don't know how to look.
Hearing none, without objection, the minutes will be approved. We have added a new item to our regular agenda, and that is an open public comment period for items that do not appear on the agenda, as long as they are relevant to the work of the Plan Commission. Is there anyone from the public who's here to speak under this agenda item? I'll ask again if there is anyone who has come to speak under this agenda item at the meeting. So we have call-in users who are muted. And I'm having a little trouble getting them unmuted. Mr. Allen, I see you have your hand raised. And so this is a completely different screen for me, guys.
We're gonna get feedback. Are we gonna get feedback? Yeah.
Doggone it.
Eric, excuse me for interrupting, but Mary Prosnick and Jill Christofferson just contacted me that they are here, but you cannot hear them. So pardon me for interrupting.
Thank you very much, Susan. So we have everyone except Commissioner Seymour. Does that sound right to you?
It sounds right to me.
Thank you. And when I try and unmute somebody, it takes me to a chat thing. Let me offer some explanation here. I'm working from home because a member of my family was tested for COVID, and I am technically under quarantine right now. So I'm trying to operate the meeting from home, but I had some technical difficulties on my desktop computer, and now I'm trying to do it on my tablet, which I wasn't prepared for. I apologize so much.
Eric, if I could interrupt one more time, I'm not raising my hand just because of the difficulties. I was just contacted that Mr. Seymour is also here. The three of them are in the council chambers with other people as well.
Okay.
That's all I know at this point.
Hey, Eric, this is Ryan.
I'm going to mute for a second and make a phone call to Mr. Allen.
No, you can't do that.
Sounds good, Eric.
Well, Eric, yeah, well, both of them have members, actually, so you're stuck with us. But if I could get him to speak to this one, I could figure it out.
Do we have a different phone that we can? Excuse me.
everyone. It seems we're having multiple technical difficulties here, layered at 2 different locations. So the next thing we're going to try is for me to log out here, log into another desktop computer that I have at home here, and see if that will work. Barring that, we may try having Commissioner Seymour run the meeting from the chair position at the council chambers. So if I may ask for your patience one more time, it'll be about 10 minutes or so. Thank you.
Yep.
Rarely hear them now, and it's I can't turn higher, and I put it on an angle. And the problem is, you have like 21 attendees. The meeting.
So there's a lot of people that are.
Yeah, well, there's
Which yeah. Oh, so just.
Unless people are not all the same engineer.
No.
Like,
Right.
which is difficult.
Yeah.
that will work. We'll call it there. The cell phone is back up. And then I'll run the meetings over there and use that.
Okay.
So I think I'll take my cell phone. We need to plug it into that, and then we can unplug this. Add it, it should.
It's still booting up, I think, here.
Oh, so we have a speakerphone that we can hear everybody, but we can't speak into it. I have no idea that the speakerphone that I got from the Dark Office is not the Dark Office. Okay, so we're gonna use but it doesn't allow us to speak out, because we can hear you fine, everything's working. Oh, my goodness. Okay, who's up?
Welcome to WebEx. Enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Call, even though it's not secure, we all come to the WebEx.
Okay, yeah, I just, let me log in, and, I don't know, let me log in and see
Enter your attendee ID number followed by pound. If you do not know your attendee number,
I don't get it. It should be now, I think, so let me try this, and then, do you want it?
Yep.
We're logged in, I think we're good. Let's try this, we're calling it, we're not.
Good evening. This is Ryan, one of the planners with the City of Eau Claire. Can everyone hear us now?
I can hear you, Ryan. This is Craig.
Is the quality good enough where we can start the meeting or no?
Well, you sound a little far off for me, but that might not be the case with the others. But I can hear you.
I can hear you, Ryan, but I agree. It sounds like you're far off.
Golly. Because we're calling in from a device. I wonder if you put both of them there. Well, does that matter?
Oh, no. Oh,
Okay, I've got.
I still don't have the people in the chambers listed on my screen.
Hey, Eric, this is Ryan. Can you hear us?
I can.
Is this quality going to work, or do we need to do something else? I guess that's the question.
Well, I don't know how I can call on people in the chamber. I can't even see them.
Well, yeah, because we're caller number 9, so we would be caller and user number 9, and I can see that, and I can see everybody else. But I was just wondering if say Mr. Seymour was the chairperson this evening, he can see everybody else, but I don't know if the quality of the sound's going to be there.
Well, I can hear you. I just have to do some adjustments here. Gosh. All right. Should we have Jeff or Jim try to run the meeting from there?
Yeah, that works. We can try that.
Okay.
Good evening. This is Jim Seymour, Commissioner Seymour. I'm going to attempt to run the meeting tonight. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
How about Commissioner Gregor? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to assume that everyone can hear me. We're gonna. Yep, go ahead.
Jim, there's some kind of background noise from somebody's microphone that keeps speaking on.
I would just suggest to remind everyone calling in to mute. I believe it's feedback from one person's phone.
Okay, we're going to try to move forward here, and we'll see what happens. Item number 5 is a public hearing for recommendation to the City Council, rezoning R4 to CBDP, and a site plan for Ellie Phillips Senior Center expansion, streetification of Babcock Street, and excess and sale of vacant land, northwest corner of Babcock Street and West Madison Street, and a certified survey map. Okay. Mr. Allen will be presenting this item.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can now. I unmuted you. I guess I'll... No, anyway, go ahead. You're unmuted.
All right. Thank you. Can everybody in the chambers hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Very good. Well, nothing worthwhile is ever easy, is it? So appreciate everybody's patience as we work through these issues here. We had a system down up to this point, and now we tried a different method to make things work, and obviously had some issues. So thank you to everybody participating, Plan Commission staff, and people who are participating as guests and attendees. Thank you for patience to get to this point. So half hour delay, but that's all in the grand scheme of things. Hopefully, again, worth everybody's time to get to this point. So we can talk about, to start here, the Ellie Phillips Senior Center and their proposed expansion at 1616 Bellinger Street. It's item number 5, as you see right there in the middle of the screen on the map before you. Moving to the next slide. Thank you. Here's the area in question for the rezoning portion, and as Secretary Seymour noted, there are a number of approvals needed to move forward to expand their building, parking, and services. The requests include the general development plan with site plans, the rezoning, as you see the image here before you, the street vacation, certified survey map, and excess land designation and sale of vacant land. So a number of definitely moving pieces to make this expansion happen as proposed. So with that, again, looking at the general plan and development plan and site plan, thank you, shows dashed kind of gray outline here, the kind of the scope of the project, the expansion, and other items related here tonight. The LA Phillips Senior Center is proposing to expand its current building westward with a approximate 7,000 square foot single-story addition with basements. Site plan will reconfigure existing parking, add new parking, vacate Babcock Street right-of-way from West Madison at the south, bottom of the screen, to Cameron Street in the north at the top of the screen. And do other things such as move the existing bicycle rack to be nearer to the entrance, close the West Madison Street access at Babcock Street, and move all vehicle access to Cameron Street on the north. Site plan also provides for additional sidewalks, crosswalks, site lighting, landscaping, and redirected stormwater. That includes a proposed bioretention basin. We move to the next drawing, or next slide, I should say. This shows, thank you, moving ahead. One more. This shows some of that bioretention basin and some of the utility movement. We move to one more slide. This shows the changes along Madison Street. And this shows a little bit more specifically some of that, the color rendering, the changes that the public would also be experiencing along the right-of-way of West Madison Street. The design of the building expansion will coordinate with the existing building, including materials, colors, and textures. They're not readily easy to see here. The dumpster area will also be relocated to the west, includes screening of the privacy fence. If you go back one more slide to that, the color rendering site plan, thank you. You can see to the far left of the screen, have a gray notched portion between the two green areas there. That shows the proposed location of the dumpster, and then also loading, a new loading area along Madison there with the screening proposed as well. Again, a screen wall will be located along the south side of the addition, the screen cooling unit, and other utilities from West Madison Street. We've also provided a staff report more information on grading and drainage, public utilities, and traffic. No real significant impacts to those. Transit stop at Madison Street will at least be temporarily impacted by the project through the construction. Transit division has requested and required actually that the reconstructed stop have a concrete pad poured at or near its current location. And through that process, Transit will inform kind of the final design of that construction. I should note as well with this drawing, staff is recommending, as noted in the narrative from the applicant as well as in the staff report, talking about new sidewalks, new access points, crosswalks and such. The white X that you see to the southwest of the proposed addition, kind of the bottom of the screen, where there's a black line running north, kind of upward to the new sidewalk along the proposed building addition. Staff will include an additional condition in the site plan letter that's been attached. Will include that will require a crosswalk at approximately that location, again from the public sidewalk up to the new building addition. So defer to the applicant as to, again, the best location for that, but that's, again, looking at this, that's been the conversation and discussion is to have that public access from public sidewalk to the building approximately at that location. So it was just not clearly identified in any of these drawings, but again, that's something that we'll make sure is part of the final site plan once constructed. So with that, I know Deputy City Engineer Leah Ness is also in council chamber there for the meeting and can answer any of the engineering questions if there are any, but I'll certainly stand for questions at this time as well.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Are there any questions from the commission members for city staff? Nothing? It's a public. Okay. Oh. Seeing no questions from the commission, we will ask the applicant to call in or step forward. Mr. Larson, could you unmute David Kimball, please?
What was the name again?
David Kimball.
Oh, there we go. Mr. Kimball?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
I think that we also have representation from the owner as well as our civil engineer, Jim Lundberg, present. And the presentation was done completely. I don't know that I have anything to add to that, Ryan.
Are there any questions from the commission members for the applicant? Mr. Gregert?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Kimball, I was wondering about the bike rack. There was some narrative there about moving the existing rack. Could you maybe describe the location that you're going to move to and where exactly the front entrance of the building will be? I guess I'm having a little trouble reading the drawing to know exactly where that front entrance is.
Yes. So we could move back a couple of slides to show the site plan layout. And yeah, any one of these will do. Currently, the bike rack is located on the right side of the existing building, towards the northeast corner. That will be relocated just to the north face of the addition so that it's more readily visible and accessible to folks using it.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Go ahead.
I guess I'm just not exactly sure where that is. That still going to be the front entrance to the building, like the current front entrance?
The front entrance to the building as a whole, including the addition, will be where the entrance is now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the commission for the applicant? Seeing none, we will open it up to the public for any commentary. It looks like we don't have any members of the public that wish to speak on this item, so we will be looking for a motion. Commissioner Granlund?
I will move approval on all counts for the plan and zoning.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Prosnick seconds. Any discussion among the commission members? Seeing none, we'll take the roll call. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obeyed.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so that motion passes. So moving on now to item number 6, we have a public hearing for recommendation to the City Council, rezoning from C2H to C3P, and Mr. Petrie will handle this one.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Chairperson. Before you tonight is a rezoning from C2H to C3P and to develop the general development plan for a commercial building located at 1000 West Claremont Avenue. Number 6 on the screen. This is the former Hardee's location. It has been vacated, and they're looking to rezone it again to the C3P plan development. You can see the notification maps of the 300-foot buffer that we notified. And then also the applicant did submit a preliminary concept drawing of the potential building that would be placed there in the future. Everyday Serving Engineering is the applicant. The parcel is approximately 1.2 acres. It has been vacant for quite some time. It was closed in December of 2019, the Hardee's location. Since that time, the applicant has put a offer to purchase, continued on the sale, and also on the zoning. With the zoning ordinance under the C2, the applicant was proposing to redevelop the site into a car wash, which would require a conditional use permit. The applicant would rather rezone the property to C3 to allow for it to be a permitted use by the zoning. Claremont Avenue has seen recent redevelopment in this area in the last 3 years with Caribou, Marshfield Clinic, Jimmy John's, the Holiday Inn Express. But also within this area has been becoming more and more vacated with Shopko, Gordy's Market, and this Hardee's location being vacated in the area. So tonight we're reviewing just the zoning from C2H to C3P. The applicant and Everyday Serving Engineering is aware of it that a final site plan would need to be reviewed by this commission at a later date. The comprehensive plan shows this area as commercial designated. Staff would be in favor of the request with the understanding that a final site plan would be reviewed by the commission at a later date. We would just note that this is just a concept drawing again, and tonight we're just reviewing the proposed from C2H to C3P. With that, I'd be standing for any questions.
Any commissioners have questions for Mr. Petrie? Can you? Seeing none, is the applicant available? Mark Erickson. Mark Erickson.
Good evening, Commissioner. Oh, I got feedback. Oh. Okay, I'll try that. Do you folks, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you at City Hall.
Okay, I just got a automatic feedback.
That was my fault, Mark. I unmuted your phone and your computer. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Yes, I'm here on behalf of PM Construction. I believe several of their folks are online. I'm sorry, I'm still getting...
This is Eric Larson. We're not getting the feedback.
Okay.
Is your phone and your computer running right now?
Yes.
Well, I have your phone muted and your computer working, so maybe you can hang up your phone.
Could you do it the other way? Because I don't have a microphone.
Yes, I can.
So sorry. Thank you. How's that, folks?
That's good.
me?
Yep, perfectly.
All right.
Thank you. I apologize for that. Yeah, folks, I'm here on behalf of PDM Construction and trying to reutilize this site. It's as you all know, it's a high traffic site in our lovely community here, and we're just looking to get it rezoned, like Mr. Petrie had said, to make it easier and more conforming to this zoning and this use. So there are two other members, I believe, of the team online too. I guess I could be here for any technical questions or anything. And Ryan and the staff report did a great job of identifying what we're trying to do. And yes, we're aware we'll have another round of planning commission approvals with regards to the site plan as that is formulated moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the Plan Commission that have any questions for the applicant? Chairwoman Obaid.
Thank you, Chairperson. I guess I just had a question. I understand this area is suited for commercial in the comprehensive plan, but it seems this whole area is kind of inundated with car washes. There's 3 within 0.7 miles of this location. So it was more of a question for the applicant. Are they going to be providing any services that the other 3 car washes within 0.4, 0.5, and 0.7 miles of this location aren't going to be?
Ms. Obaid, this is Mark Erickson. I don't know if the other folks have been unmuted. I know that they had studied the ground and the location. I would like them to chime in a little bit more about that. They came to me, but there must have been a market demand for it, as I would understand, but little do I know.
Who should I unmute?
Well, there should be a Marv. He's going to have a 425 prefix to his phone number. He's a 715-4. Let me just look it up, Mr. Roy.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, this is Mark. PDM Construction.
Yeah, go ahead. Did you hear the question, Obey?
I did, yes, and thank you for unmuting me here. I'd like to just mention this is a very unique car wash. It's a fully automated car wash. The cars run through within about 60 to 90 seconds. It has no touch by any employees. The building is very unique. It's a beautiful concept that they've come up with. There's several of these in the Wisconsin area. We've done a couple of them very successful just in the Marathon County area, and there's some down in the Milwaukee area. We're really excited about bringing this to Eau Claire. It's been such a success everywhere else. So the car washes do have just a very unique appearance to them. The system that they run through, they just do a beautiful job, and it's been the company the franchise that started this has hundreds of these throughout the country, so it should be a very successful project. I think that's about all I've got to say.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the Plan Commission members? Council Member Gregor.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Erickson and Mr. Anderson, for answering our questions here. My question may actually be in part for staff because it's kind of a little bit further down the road when we look at the site plan. But I thought I'd ask it here just as a heads up. I guess I was wondering if there was a thought to putting a sidewalk along the frontage road on the east side of the property from the roundabout to the multi-use trail so that, people could take a little quicker angle if they're coming from the north or from the south, going north-south. I see there's not very much space between the property line and the right-of-way, but in the actual street. I just thought I'd raise that as a question and a potential need in the future. So, not sure if there's any thoughts about that at the moment.
Yeah, excellent question, Mr. Greger. We could look at that at the final site plan. Something that engineering will have to look at as well. The right-of-way is almost at the back of the curb, but that will be something we look at the final site plan process.
All right, thank you, Mr. Petrie.
You're welcome.
Okay, are there any other questions from the Plan Commission? Seeing none, we'll open it up for public discussion. If there are any members of the public that would like to talk about this issue, now's your chance. Seeing none, we will move on to the vote. We will first need a motion. Commissioner Christofferson says aye.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Prosnick seconds. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson. Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obaid.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So that motion passes. Moving on to item number 7, we have a public hearing for recommendation to the City Council, public zoning of Simpson Fields. Mr. Petrie.
Thank you. Item number 7 is the Simpson Field at UWEC. There's a notification map of the PZ file. The parcel is currently zoned public. You're showing the large parcel that includes some buildings along University Drive, the athletic fields along Claremont Avenue, and the tennis courts and track and the fields to the east is what we're focused on this evening. In your packet is showing the lighting plan that UWEC is proposing. This parcel is approximately 14 acres. The comprehensive plan shows this as public use for the university. The zoning of it, again, is P public. The request this evening is to make a recommendation to the council for the lighting plan and other improvements, including a sign along Claremont Avenue. The City of Eau Claire outdoor lighting standards are noted in your report. It does have the exception for football, baseball, and other fields lighting subject to Plan Commission approval. Now this is a unique request because it's a public zoning that the council would have to be the final review of it. The lighting plan provided by the applicant shows the proposal. They're proposing 4 poles spaced out throughout the track with 76 fixtures at 90 feet in height. They have a variety of things in your packet about the illumination, the locations, and the lighting pollution within the area. They are showing that it won't reach the perimeter. It will get to pretty close to the property line, but you probably wouldn't be able to notice it if you're on the other side of Claremont Avenue. There is a large buffer of trees along the trail. Then to the east of the neighborhood, if I go back a couple, they did meet with the Ward Court neighborhood. There is a buffer of trees along that to the east. To the north is the Putnam Trail, Putnam area, and then to the west is the university facilities. In their packet too, they have provided a narrative explaining the request. This is similar to Bellinger Fields that the campus has, along with shared with the city. In addition to this request this evening, the applicant is proposing an entrance sign along West Claremont Avenue near University Drive, south of the existing Exxon Energy power area, and then north of the existing bike trail. The university is proposing the sign that's on the screen. It's approximately 9.5 feet tall, approximately 45 feet in copy area for the university with their logo. This existing sign along University Ave will be removed with this request. Since this is the same parcel, staff thought this would be appropriate time to review this as well. So this would be visible from Claremont. Currently, the university does not have a sign along Claremont Avenue. Again, this request would be reviewed by this commission tonight and then council on the July 27th meeting. Staff is recommending the request of the site plan, lighting plan, and monument sign, with the understanding that the removal of the existing monument sign on University Ave would be taken out. With that, I'd be standing for any questions this evening.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the Plan Commission members for Mr. Petrie? Seeing none, we will see if the applicant is available.
Commissioner Greger, do you have his hand up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Go ahead, Mr. Greger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a question about the state natural area to Mr. Petrie that's just located to the north of Simpson Field. Is there any sort of consideration that's given toward state natural areas and lighting that increases the standard or level of sensitivity from like a state policy standpoint or anything like that, given Putnam Park?
Excellent question. I'm not aware of anything. That would be an excellent question for the applicant. They should be on this call this evening. I'm not aware of anything at this time, though.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioner members? I think I'm seeing none, so we will see if we can get the applicant.
Mr. Rassi, are you here to speak as the applicant?
Yes, my thanks to the Plant Commission members for their consideration of this item. It was well summarized by staff, and to Commissioner Greger's question, we're not aware of any additional requirements resulting from the Putnam Park being on the north side of this, but we'll look into that and get back to you. In general, we're pleased that we were able to make these improvements through charitable giving to the university and the Wold Court neighborhood residents. We had 5 folks of the 9 homes attend a session and did not have any substantive concerns raised. So I'm here if you do have any additional questions. Otherwise, I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions from the Plan Commission? It looks like we don't have any more questions, so we will move to the public discussion part. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this item? And I don't see anything there either, so we'll be looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Greger? Commissioner Greger?
I second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion among the Plan Commission members? Seeing none, then we'll take the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obeyed.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That item passes. So we'll move on to item number 8, public discussion for recommendation to the City Council. Final plat, SCS Eau Claire, Phase 1. Mr. Petrie.
Thank you. Number 8 on the agenda is on the west side of the community. This is for SCS Eau Claire, final plat for Phase 1, located on the west side of Kane Road, south of the North Crossing. Few of the members may remember this project as SC Swiderski's multifamily development. They are showing 6 lots for multifamily, 3 lots for stormwater, and then if you remember, lot 1 is the community center and maintenance facility. This is the final steps in the process of the rezoning. They did site plan approvals back in October of 2019. This commission did review the preliminary plat and final site plans in January of this year. This final site with final plat, pardon me, along with the developer's agreement will be for the new street, will be reviewed by the council at their next meeting. This request is for 28 acres of multifamily land that's zoned R3P, and staff would recommend approval of the request, and I'd be happy to stand for any questions this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Petrie. Are there any questions from the Plan Commission members? Seeing none, we will see if the applicant is available. April? April?
Do you know who I should unmute here?
April.
Okay, there we go. Ms. Pankow?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the review of our final plat of Phase 1 of our project here at Eau Claire. We're very excited to bring forth the final steps of this project to get started. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the Plan Commission? We aren't seeing anybody, so we will be looking for a motion. Granlund. Chair Commissioner Granlund.
I would like to move approval of this submittal.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Commissioner Wolfgram.
I'm happy to second. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move forward with the vote. Prosnick?
Aye.
Christofferson?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Granlund?
Aye.
Gregert?
Aye.
Brenholt?
Aye.
Obeyed?
Aye.
Wolfgram?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That item passes. So moving on to item number 9, public discussion for recommendation to the City Council. Final plat, the Woodlands Phase 3. That one. Mr. Allen will be presenting this one.
Okay, you should be ready.
All right. Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Very good, thank you. I had to switch microphone inputs here myself, so thanks again to everybody for bearing with us the technical issues here this evening. But yes, before you this evening is the next item on the agenda, looking at the slides. Thank you very much. Agenda item 9, this is for the Woodlands Phase 3. You can see at their top right-hand corner of the map, the northeast corner of the city. This is located north of Sundet Road and east of Bean Road. And this phase of this plat is for single-family home development. You can see here a little bit more clearly the lots in question and the location at that northeast corner of that intersection. Everyday Survey and Engineering is the applicant on behalf of the owner and the developer, and is requesting to approve the final plat here, Woodlands 3, for 19 single-family lots and 1 outlot located as identified already. This is the final phase of the 3-phase Woodlands subdivision. Phase 1 was for 14 single-family lots back in 2002. Phase 2 is for 18 single-family lots in 2004. The original preliminary plat indicated the proposed Woodlands Drive, which you see running north-south here on the drawing. If you move to the next slide, please. You can see here all the lot layouts as well, with the outlet to the bottom of the screen. Move ahead one more slide. Thank you. You can see that everything's been rotated here counterclockwise 90 degrees. So north is now to the left. So Bean Road is on the bottom, the west side, and then Sundet is on the right side and the south. You can see here this drawing is to show that issue with the connection that was originally proposed with the preliminary plat many years ago, that Woodlands Drive would connect through to Sundet Road instead of terminating with a proposed cul-de-sac. However, wetlands were more formally delineated more specifically and formally back in 2018 along Sundet Road. You can see there to the right of the screen, kind of that notch for what would be Outlot 1. You can see the green kind of hatched area, shaded area, are those formally delineated wetlands. So again, that then precluded the proposed Woodlands Drive from connecting through to Sundet Road. Change to this cul-de-sac layout was approved as part of that Woodlands 2 final plat back in 2004. And again, those wetlands now are identified as Outlot 1. The final plat shows the proposed final layout of the streets and lots for this last phase of the development. Primary access is to the existing City Line Road to the east. We can go back 2 more slides, please. Thank you. There's a little more clearly there in the map. Again, City Line Road is what runs east-west at the kind of the top of the cul-de-sac entrance. And the secondary access is via Woodlands Drive, which is the cul-de-sac proposed here, connecting north to the existing 23rd Avenue, which is in the village of Lake Hallie. The agenda item, this agenda item, the developers agreement, will be considered by City Council at their meeting next Tuesday. So there's a developers agreement associated with this. And again, number of lots before you here. There is existing residential around the area, and Bean Road is also known as, I believe, 115th Street, if I'm counting correctly, in the village of Lake Hallie. So we're right up against the boundaries with the village of Lake Hallie with this final phase. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Are there any questions from the Plan Commissioners? Commissioner Christofferson.
Thank you, Acting Chair. Mr. Allen, I'm feeling a little bit dim this evening. I wonder if you would just confirm to me, is 23rd Avenue actually accessing Woodland, Woodland Drive, or does it just come up to it? I'm not quite clear.
I apologize, having a little bit of a hard time hearing everybody in the council chamber there. Which drive are we referring to?
I'm wondering if 23rd Avenue is actually accessing or entering onto that cul-de-sac.
Yes, that is the intention, Commissioner Christopherson, for that future connection to occur to the north there with Woodlands Drive. Now, to what degree that would be a connection, as you've seen there, may not be a full public street access, more of a secondary access. I'll defer to the applicant, I believe Mr. Mark Erickson, to perhaps describe a little more detail what that access is intended to be with this final phase.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Are there any other questions for city staff? Okay, seeing none, could we get the applicant to come forward, please? Mr. Erickson.
Good day again, Commission. Mark Erickson here. Yeah, Mr. Allen and the staff did a great job of telling a little bit of the history of this area. Actually, back in 2000, when I was with ECG, I worked on this preliminary plat and all that leading up to this. And to get to Ms. Christopherson's question is, 23rd is a village road owned. It's a rural cross section, and over the course of the history of this property, both what is known as Hunter's Ridge and this being Woodlands, being in totally different municipalities, there was, by Mr. Jensko, former city engineer, and the Village Lake Cali at some time, an agreement to have connectivity through service and emergency vehicles from one municipality to the next. That, oddly enough, had migrated from Clubhouse Lane, which was the first and furthest east property, or east right away on this project. Then it got nixed because the value of those properties closer and immediately to the golf course on Hunter's Ridge. Then it was proposed to happen in the second Running Deer Road to go straight through. That got nixed when Hunter's Ridge got approved before Woodlands got approved. And so in my conversation with Mr. Jensko, as I said, former engineer, as far back as 2017 when the landowner at that time had looked at this, one of the city stances was, well, we're going to want and require some facet of a circulation connection to Hunter's Ridge, which is a Village Lake Cali land just to the north of us. And via doing it, this mechanism that we're proposing was acceptable to him then. It's not meant to be, we've got a couple complications for all you. The Village Lake Cali doesn't have curb and gutter. They're a rural cross section. This road on Woodlands that does go north does drain down to towards Hunter's Ridge, but it should not adversely impact it in any manner. And so it's really not meant to be a shortcut for Hunter's Ridge. It would actually be more difficult for them to navigate through it to get out. It's really for the circulation of mail trucks, garbage trucks. The portion of street north of City Line Road to Hunter's Ridge boundary to the north will be built in what is known as essentially a rural cross section with a substantial width of asphalt with gravel shoulders and ditches going down in that area north of City Line Road. So I hope I answered your question. I did get to it long-winded, and I apologize for you folks. I'll stand back and let's see if there's any more questions for anybody out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions from the Plan Commission? Okay, I don't see any. So I guess we will now be looking for a motion.
This is Eric. I will move approval.
Thank you, And we have a second from Ms. Christofferson. Is there any further discussion on this? Commissioner Wolfgram, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I just have what I would call an aspirational thought. I'd love to see the city in the future consider some type of cost support to make it more affordable for families to be able to purchase these kinds of lots. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion from the Plan Commission? Okay, I don't see any. We have a first and a second, so we will call the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obeyed.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, and that item passes. Moving on to item number 10, public discussion for recommendation to the City Council, acquisition of vacant land. Christine Basom.
Thank you. Can you hear me good?
Yep, we can.
Okay, perfect. Before you this evening is a recommendation for the city to purchase vacant land. It's approximately 80.1 acres located on the northwest corner of County Line Road and County Road T. It's located in the town of Wheaton, Chippewa County. It's adjacent to the Gateway Industrial Park and is highly suitable for industrial expansion. The surrounding area is identified in the 2015 Comprehensive Plan for Industrial Expansion Use. The plan is to purchase the property to be included with the Chippewa County New Industrial Park. The requirement is 200 acres. If there are any questions, I would be happy to help.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the Plan Commission members? Seeing none, the city is the applicant, so I don't think we have anything further there. I guess at this point we'd be looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second? Commissioner Obeyed.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the roll for the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obeyed.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That item passes. Moving on to item number 11, public discussion for recommendation to the City Council, excess and sale of land. I'm assuming Christine Basom again.
Thank you. This item is for recommendation for approval to declare the property at 1805 Menominee Street excess land and authorize the sale to the Flying Eagle Ski Club. There was a lease agreement that expired here at the middle of March of 2020 between the City of Eau Claire and the Flying Eagles Ski Club. In that agreement, there was contemplation to sell off the land. Both parties are interested in doing so, so that is the request before you. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Does any of the Plan Commission have a question? Seeing none, the city is the applicant, so we will move and look for a motion. Okay. Commissioner Brenholt?
I'll move approval.
Thank you. Second? Commissioner Granlund?
I will second the motion.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? I don't see any, so we'll call the vote. Prosnick?
Aye.
Christofferson?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Granlund?
Aye.
Gregert?
Aye.
Brenholt?
Aye.
Obeyed.
Aye.
Wolfgram?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That item passes. Moving on to item number 12, we have public discussion for recommendation to the City Council. Access and sale of vacant land. Ms. Bassam, I'm sorry.
Thank you. The next item before you is for recommendation. The property owner at 3749 Justin Lane approached the city regarding the acquisition of city-owned adjacent property. The adjacent property is located on the corner of Arthur Street and Justin Lane, and it was the location of an abandoned pump house. The adjacent property owner is was looking to purchase the property to expand his multifamily development. The 2015 comprehensive plan does show multifamily development for that site. So before you was the report completed for that. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the Plan Commission? Seeing none, the city is again the applicant, so we'll move on and look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Commissioner Granlund.
Will second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Does Commissioner Wolfgren have her hand up for comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's check. Commissioner Wolfgram, do you have your hand up?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you, Chairperson Seymour. So just one other aspirational thought that I was thinking of. I believe the land is assessed at $45,000, but the city doesn't say how much they plan on selling it for. I wonder if the city could use that negotiation to gain some affordable units. For instance, you might sell it to the developer at a 25% discount if they agree to make 25% of the units affordable or workforce housing. That's just a thought. As we know, we cannot rely on WHEDA tax credits in the future for affordable housing. So thank you for hearing me on that.
Thank you. Where were we at? Gregert? Should we start over? Okay, we're gonna call the vote over. So starting fresh, Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obeyed.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That item passes. Moving on to item number 13 for public discussion for approval by the Plan Commission. A site plan amendment number 2, ECOM. And presenting will be Mr. Petrie.
Thank you, Chairperson. This evening is number 13 on the north side in the Gateway Industrial Park. Ecom on Venture is proposing the next phase of their project. Phase 1 and 2 are to the south. Phase 3 is on the lot to the north along County Line Road and Venture Drive. The property is currently zoned I-1P. The parcel is approximately 7.6 acres. It's currently vacant. There are some sloping issues that the applicant will take care of with the new proposal. You can see on the screen the proposed building for Phase 3. Everyday Serving Engineering, on behalf of the owners, is proposing a warehouse building. In the packet is their site plan and narratives explaining the proposal. The approximate site plan is 96,000 square foot building with parking lot and new driveway onto County Line Road, along with loading docks on the west end of the property. On the north end of the property would be for customer and client parking, also employee parking. The new driveway onto County Line Road would be the only access point to this property and to the property to the west. The property to the west is vacant, and I'll show you on the aerial. So the property to the west would be vacant as well. To the south is the first two phases, and then to the southwest is the regional pond that the city of Eau Claire owns. This proposal, though, that we're looking at right now is for 96,000 square foot building, as I mentioned. The site plan does have an 85 foot wide access easement shown and shared driveway. A landscape plan should be submitted and reviewed by staff at a later date. Staff would also like to note that there is plan for future expansions for this client if they choose to. They are proposing potentially future building number 4, which is pretty similar to what is reviewed this evening. That one's just slightly smaller. And then that would be option 7 as shown on the screen. And then future building number 5 is to the west off the shared access and shared driveway. So we've asked the applicant for a master plan of the area, if possible. Now, with the understanding that as long as one of these phases gets under construction in the next 3 years, they would not need to come back to the commission. They would just have to review it by staff. That is a master plan for the area, and that's the reason why they're showing the shared access and shared driveway to County Line Road. Also in your packet is the building elevation showing the proposed building. It's similar to the building that was under construction a few years ago in 2018. Grading and drainage and utilities and traffic is noted in the report. They are proposing a 35-foot wide driveway onto County Line Road. The Plan Commission shall review that, and that's wider than the 30-foot standard as noted in the report. There is a few conditions that need to be met by the applicant prior to getting a building permit. And with that, I'd be standing for any questions this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Petrie. Do we have any questions from the Plan Commission? Commissioner Gregert.
Thank you, Acting Chair. Mr. Petrie, and this may be a question for Ms. Ness, we chatted over email a bit about the future of bike and pedestrian access to this area and making sure we have some space for future trail or sidewalk. I guess my concern is I see such a small amount of space in the very northeast corner of the property, and it's mostly because of the curvature of that Venture Drive and County Line Road intersection. Imagine it's such a wide turn because it's largely a truck route, but just wanted to make sure that there would be a way to, just wondering if this assures that there would be a way to construct a trail or sidewalk along County Line Road or Venture Drive in the future.
There is adequate right-of-way to have a sidewalk or potentially a multi-use trail on County Line Road. That was just recently reconstructed in, I believe, 2014. Venture Drive, the original industrial park area, there was not sidewalk included in any of the street system within that area, but the bike and pedestrian plan outlined County Line Road as a local biking route, and it also identifies it as a major gap in the system for a sidewalk. So it is something that is on the radar for a future project. Are there any other transportation-related questions?
It's just a follow-up about the curvature of that corner. I imagine, if a trail goes in, it would be a little tighter at that corner, or that northeast corner of this property just seems so close to the curb line right now.
Yeah, we'd probably have to make some type of revision or work with the property owner for an easement if we needed to curve the trail or the sidewalk to cross the intersection properly. With the trucks coming in and out of there, that's the main design right now for that radius of that intersection.
Okay. So there's not really anything to be done at this point that would prepare us for that?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from the Plan Commission? Okay, I don't see any more questions from the Plan Commission. I guess at this point we'll ask the applicant if they can add anything. And that is Mark Erickson, I'm sorry, Erickson.
All is good, and thank you very much again, Commission, for hearing this site plan approval process. And yes, this is, it's fine to touch on phase 1 and 2, went off on 18 and 19, and here's 2020, and we're looking at an additional phase as of right now. So we hear Mr. Gerget and Ms. Ness is concerned about traffic, as in pedestrian bike traffic, and we can look at that as time goes on. Definitely take into consideration what's best for the people of the community. I think everything else was fully addressed by Ryan's presentation and/or the conditions as stated in the conditions of approval in this project. So I guess I'll listen for any other questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson. Are there any further questions from the Plan Commission? Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. So at this point, we'll be looking for a motion. Commissioner Granlund.
I will I would make a motion to propose this with staff recommendations as written.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second? Commissioner Brenholt.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye. Does Commissioner Granlund have a comment?
Oh, thank you. Commissioner Granlund, sorry.
Forgot to lower my hand, sorry.
Okay. Well, it's your vote now.
My vote, I'll say aye.
Oh, thank you. Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obaid.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, and that item passes. Item number 14, public discussion for approval by the Plan Commission, a site plan for Eau Claire Ford expansion. Mr. Allen will be presenting this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. Can everybody hear me okay again?
Yep, we can hear you good.
Great, thank you. Again, this is a request for approval of the site plan for proposed auto body shop building for Eau Claire Ford at their location at 2909 Lorich Avenue. Everyday Surveying and Engineering and Eau Claire Ford are requesting approval of this site plan. Proposed building as provided for in your packet would be in the southwest quadrant of the auto dealership site. Thank you. The drawing there, you can see red highlighted, the dot there, proposed location, and would be approximately 3,328 square feet in size. I will again allow the applicant to provide some additional information that was provided to us since your packet was provided to you, that the owner is potentially interested in a slightly larger footprint, but would fit within the general area presented here this evening. In discussions with, again, planning staff and engineering staff, it should not impact the proposal in any significant way in terms of any parking or stormwater or other issues related to site plans in general. So, again, I'll defer to the applicant in terms of their consideration for a slightly larger building than what you have in your packet. However, again, the total project area is just under ½ acre in size. The overall property itself is just over 11 acres in size, which includes the auto dealership use. Applicant intends to remove about 6,400 square feet of existing asphalt, which will be replaced with 9,900 square feet of impervious surfaces, which would include regraded asphalt pad, 10-foot concrete apron, and the proposed building. The last site plan approval for this property was the addition in 2015 of a quick service expansion to the southeast portion of the auto dealership building. Again, stormwater is being addressed currently, and again, no real impacts to other services related to the site. There are additional slides here that we can certainly cycle through to show the proposal as a whole. This shows the landscaped area that's being proposed, again, primarily as where it abuts other properties to the west and north. And again, the new building, thank you, the new building as shown here is just over 3,300 square feet in size. The applicant may be looking at expanding that, presumably to the west there, to make that a little bit larger overall building, but again, not impacting the significant way parking or other impervious surfaces in that general area. So with that, I'll stand for any questions before I turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Are there any questions from the Plan Commission for city staff? Okay, I don't see any, so we will now ask the applicant to step forward, and that is Mr. Erickson again.
Good evening, and thank you folks again for hearing this project at your commission level here. Mr. Allen did a great job, if not excellent, in describing what's going on here. Eau Claire Ford is looking to put a body shop and a building up on that lower part that they're talking about, was identified on the slides. They most recently, I think it would have been Thursday late afternoon, came to me and asked what was the probability of expanding the length of the building, give or take about 60 feet more to the east, to the west, I apologize. And that's what Scott is referencing, is that they have an opportunity to maybe slide a service or two out of the existing building that would be more accommodable to be handled on this disconnected building that we're proposing now. So other than that, all the conditions that were stated in the staff report are agreeable to, and we're pretty excited to look at this new addition to their facilities up on online. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson. Are there any members of the Plan Commission with any questions? Okay, I don't see any. So we will move, we'll be looking for a motion. Commissioner Christofferson.
Thank you, Acting Chairman. I move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Eric Larson seconds.
Thank you, Commissioner Larson. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I do not see any, so we will move to the vote. Prosnick.
Aye.
Christofferson.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye.
Gregert.
Aye.
Brenholt.
Aye.
Obaid.
Aye.
Wolfgram.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That item passes. So we will move on to item number 15, public discussion for approval by the Plan Commission, a certified survey map. Subdivision in the town of Washington. And Mr. Allen will be presenting.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commission members. Again, before you this evening is a little bit more unique or rare request before the Commission, and that is a request to approve a certified survey map, or CSM, in this case for a 4-lot subdivision in the town of Washington. You can see here in the drawing here, it's the vacant land, kind of wooded land, as you see there towards the middle of the screen. It's south on Highway 93, just south of the current city limits of the city of Eau Claire, on the east side of Highway 93, along Fredeck Road. What's unique is that, again, there are certain density and lot size standards within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Eau Claire, and specifically here within the urban sewer service area, or as we abbreviate that as SSA. Again, there's certain standards that are agreed upon with the towns, in this case the town of Washington and the city of Eau Claire, moving forward with vacant development into new subdivisions, and even further some additional guidance in terms of infill development. So with that, the applicant and buyer, on behalf of the owner, who was included in your packet, are requesting to approve the CSM for a 4-lot subdivision. Here it says west of Highway 93, it should say, I apologize for that error, and south of Gunnis Road. Again, the City of Eau Claire's sewer service area plan and the intergovernmental agreement with the town of Washington states that land divisions within that SSA for residential purposes shall be permitted at a density standard of 1 single-family lot per 10 acres. The purpose of this standard is to preserve larger developable tracts of land for more urban-type development, since the SSA is anticipated to eventually be annexed to the City of Eau Claire to provide city utilities and services, hence the term urban service area. Again, there are exceptions to the standard for infill lots. And again, that would be the property in question as well. That may be considered based on criteria. There's 6 criteria that were provided for in your staff report. Not to go through all those in great detail, but the 6th item is the one that has brought this forward and passed an administrative process, going past that and into a plan commission approval. Thank you for the slide there as well, showing the proposal from the applicant. Again, item 6 of the 6th criteria for those exceptions states that the proposed lots must be reasonably consistent in size with existing adjacent lots. You can jump back one more slide again, that original slide, please. Thank you. You can see here, hopefully fairly clearly, some of the other lots to the north and even to the south. Those adjacent nearby residential lots are more or less about 2 acres in size. And what the applicant is proposing with their 4-lot CSM are lots that, if we can jump ahead to this one more slide. Thank you, are lots that are approximately 1 acre in size. So, half that of those proposed, of the existing lots that are already adjacent or nearby to this proposed area. Again, staff has indicated to the applicant that a 2-lot CSM, and that's a recommendation before you here this evening, is that staff recommends approval rather than a 4-lot CSM requested. Staff recommends approval of a 2-lot CSM in order to be consistent with the provisions of the agreement with the town of Washington and the city's subdivision code. Again, due to the applicant's desire to double the number of lots allowed through an administrative review of the 6 exception criteria, the requested CSM is brought before the Plan Commission for your review and consideration. Regardless of your decision here tonight, property in question does still need approval from Eau Claire County as well as the town of Washington prior to any development. So essentially is the first step that the applicant and buyer have been taking before they go through, for example, with a rezoning through the county, which will be required to make this proposal work, and then also going through approvals with the town of Washington. So again, a lot of background, a lot of introduction here for this to present this to you. Again, a 2-lot CSM would be more in line with the existing residential areas around this property. But again, the applicant has requested this more densely developed 4-lot CSM with the 1-acre lots. And then again, of course, the proposed kind of cul-de-sac here too, which would be, again, all remaining within the town, but within that sewer service area, and therefore, potential for that future eventual annexation into the city or city utilities and services. So with that, I'll stand for any questions and then turn it over to applicant or buyer, hopefully with us as well.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Are there any questions from the Plan Commission regarding this project? Commissioner Granlund.
Yes, when this is ultimately incorporated into the fully urban version, would it be expected that these lots be divided into an ultimate size, something around 1 acre or less?
It's a good question. Again, the intent of that urban sewer service area with this intergovernmental agreement is to preserve these vacant lands for more type, again, that urban development. It's hard to say if this would be something more appropriate for what you're seeing I see what you're saying. What you're saying already before you here, is this more appropriate for urban development as it's designed? I would say no. Again, it's over 4 acres in size and would likely be subdivided into smaller than 1 acre lots. Again, what happens here is as these properties develop in the town, they essentially are locking in this proposed development and precluding any kind of more economical, so to speak, in terms of city utilities and services, urban development. So I would argue that 1 acre lots wouldn't necessarily be what you see as ultimate development in an urban sense, even in this location. But again, I don't want to say it's just speculation, but again, without seeing what a long-term plan may look like, the comprehensive plan is really more general in nature in this area in terms of low-density residential. So technically, 1 acre lots fits that description, but again, the intent is to look at this to be more in line with the existing residential area already in place, in this case along Friedeck Road. So presumably as that entire area would eventually annex into the city, you'd have that consistent development pattern and not this portion as you're seeing described here and presented for you tonight.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the Plan Commission? Okay, we do not see any. At this point, we would ask the applicant to step forward, and that is Eric Knopf.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, members of the Planning Commission and city staff. I guess I'll start out, thanking Scott for his efforts to go over our proposal here. I do think it's important for the Planning Commission to consider the other 5 factors that are part of this criteria for establishing an exception to the 10-acre lot density standard located within the city sewer service area. And this, the first criteria here listed under item number A is the proposed lots are in areas that have previously been subdivided into smaller lots. That is definitely the case here. If you look at areas lying immediately west and immediately north of my client's property, those areas have been subdivided. The area to the west was subdivided by a certified survey map in 1995. The area to the north of my client's property was also subdivided by a certified survey map in 1998. Item number B, this is, and this is underneath, again, the set of criteria to be considered when looking at getting an exception to the 10-acre lot density. The proposed lots cannot be reasonably surveyed or served by city utilities due to natural barriers, creeks, man-made barriers, major highways, or significant existing development. This would also roll into item C, which would state that states that would be cost prohibitive to serve the proposed lots with city utilities. Going on to item D, creating the proposed lots as a means of lessening development pressure on larger tracts of land outside of the city sewer service area. I guess, in my opinion, we would be addressing that item very well. If anybody's traveled south of the city along the Highway 93 corridor, specifically along the 93 corridor where it intersects County Highway II. That area is immediately outside of the city sewer service area, and the development in that area has literally exploded in recent years. Looking at some of the past comprehensive plans that have been prepared by the City of Eau Claire planning staff, I went back to the comprehensive plan dated in 2005 for the City of Eau Claire. This area that my client is proposing to purchase and develop the property had been previously described as a short and medium, or a medium short and a medium long term area for sewer extensions. The timeline there was in 2005. The timeline had been set for a proposed extension of the city sewer services to be extended within a period of approximately 5 to 10 years. Again, that was in 2005, and we're in 2020 here, and it's yet to happen. If we update, fast forward and move to the city's current comprehensive plan, there are sewer lines or proposed sewer laterals both for city water and city sewer services. None of those, I believe, connect directly to my client's property. I am, I guess, of the opinion that, you know, we looked at this back in 2005. We're here in 2020, and there really is no concrete plan for setting a date where anybody in this area could expect to be served by city sewer and water. So I guess it'd be my contention that this area would be suitable for this type of development. We've had conversations with the county staff as well as the town of Washington staff, and both entities have expressed that their staff would support this type of development. Does anybody have any specific questions that I could possibly answer? I apologize for being long-winded here, but I'll answer any other questions that you might have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Knopf. Are there any Plan Commission members with any questions for the applicant? We're not seeing any hands go up, so we will. Yes, go ahead.
I also believe that the applicant should be on the list here, so you may want to check to see if they had any additional input.
Sure, that sounds good. And who is that?
It should be Tria Tao.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. Could you please state your name? Hello, are you there? Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. I think maybe we'll see if we have a motion from one of the commission members. Okay.
This is Eric Larson. I will move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Commissioner Christofferson, seconds.
I will second.
And do we have any discussion? Oh. Commissioner Christofferson.
Thank you, Acting Chairman. I respect the opinion of the staff in this particular instance. I really, the agreements that we have with our border partners are very important that they're observed. There is a reason why we have those agreements. And that infill, I think, is intended so that lots remain in the general size of those that are surrounding them, in which case this is not an infill that fits, but it's an infill that changes or reduces what is that current size. So I would not be supporting this.
Thank you. Commissioner Brenhold, do you have your hand up?
I do. Thank you. I concur with Commissioner Christofferson as well as the staff, and we'll be voting no as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other commission members that would like to add comment? It looks like we don't have any more. So we'll take the vote. We have a first and a second. Prosnick?
Aye.
Christofferson?
No.
Larson?
No.
Granlund?
No.
Gregert?
No.
Brenholt?
No.
Obaid?
No.
Wolfgram?
No.
And the chair votes no, so that item does not pass. Moving on to item number 16, future agenda items. Does anybody have any future agenda items? Oh, just throw something at me. Commissioner Christofferson.
Thank you, Acting Chair. I have, in the recent weeks, been watching some Strongtown Zoom webinars that they have been presenting on what I've considered very interesting. One of them just 2 weeks ago was incremental development. And it was presented by an organization in, I think it was in Toronto. But what I want to recommend to my fellow commissioners is that there were 7 different small developers who were doing incremental development in very different ways that would be appropriate for like Randall Park or Upper West Side. Certainly most of my district would be very appropriate for some of their ideas. Why I'm recommending it to you would be, if we viewed it and then had some discussion, would be interesting. But I had a very different idea of what incremental development might look like. And I found that just very informative to me as a commissioner. So I'm just wondering if there might be some interest in sharing that link and then maybe having some discussion or simply making it available so that each of us could view it just for the experience. Thank you.
Thank you. I can say I like that idea, so I would like to see that happen. Anybody else have any commentary on that or future agenda items? Mr. Allen, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Acting Chair. Yeah, we could certainly send around a link to Strong Town's information, as Commissioner Christopherson mentioned. Certainly starting with that component, they've been having, as noted, a series of some of these webinars, especially with current situation, trying to remain engaged in these types of topics, and doing so in kind of this interactive, multi-presenter webinar fashion. So yeah, certainly can send links to some of those recordings and upcoming webinars, and add those to as discussion items in future agendas here. Along with that, do want to mention that we are intending to give a bit of a staff update on the comprehensive plan 5-year review tonight, but considering the length of the agenda, we considered moving that forward to the next Plan Commission agenda, which would be August 3rd. So we intend to give you an update on the work from staff's perspective at that point.
Okay, thank you. Any other members have any future agenda items they'd like to talk about? Okay, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
This program was brought to you by a cooperation between Newsworks and the City of Eau Claire. A transcript of this meeting is available for the hearing impaired. It will be available within 7 days of this telecast. Call 715-839-4912 or TDD 715-839-1689 or write Eau Claire City Clerk, P.O. Box 5148, Eau Claire, Wisconsin 54702-5148. Newsworks is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, please contact us via phone at 715-839-5067 or online at valleymediaworks.org.